Don't worry, it's okay. Getting data from MySQL database can be extremely confusing, and in this video I'm going to show you the simplest way on how to make it. Stay with me. Hey, what's up guys? Senaid here from CodingPassiveIncome.com, the place where I help others to become a web developer much easier and faster than they will do it on their own. So, if that is something that interests you, consider subscribing. So before we even start reading the code, I want to explain you the basics that you need to understand for this tutorial. So let's say we have some country table inside our MySQL database, and here is what we see inside this table. So we have columns ID, name and about, and we have some rows here. So first thing that we need to do from PHP, we need to write an SQL query that will position ourselves on this table. So our query will look like, so let's say we will have one variable SQL equal, and let's say here we have some connection variable. So let's say this variable is defined before this, and it's just a connection to our MySQL database. I will show you that in a moment. And here we will just say query, and inside here I will just write an SQL. So it's very simple. Let's say we will just say select everything from country, and that's it. That is just the simple SQL query, and I will just close. So what this query will do, it will actually select complete table, and that's it. And now what we need to do is we need somehow to position ourselves on this first row, get all data, after that position second row, third, etc. So the best way to achieve that is to use while loop, because at the moment we don't know how many rows we have, and there is no reason for us to first get the number of the rows and after that to use any other. The best way is to use while loop, just my suggestion, but it is possible to achieve the same result with other loops. So I will say while, and let's say here I will create new variable data equal this SQL, and here we will say fetch array, and we will close this, and let's say we will open and close here. So what this part of the code is doing, we have while loop that will go through each and every row in this table, but this part here will position ourselves at the moment on the first row. We are going to select all the data here, okay, this, and this data will be transferred to this variable data. So after this part of the code executes, we will have created new variable data, and let me just show you how it will look like. So we will have data, and it is going to be an associative array. So I will just write it like we are making it ourselves, and here we will have ID 1, we will have name, which is Austria, and we will have about, which is okay, and we are going to close this. So now for those of you that don't know how to get first you need to know that this is our key inside this array, and this is the value for this key. So again, this is key, this is value, etc. And now for those of you that don't know how to use associative array, all we need to do is to write the name of the variable. So I will say here data, and after that here we need to specify the key for which we want to get the data. So let's say I want to get this value. I will first say the key is name, and that's it. Now I can just say echo, and Austria will be written on our screen. So this is just quick explanation of associative array. I have another tutorial that goes really deep on this topic. So I will say echo, and now let's say data, and let's say ID dot, and let's say an empty space dot again, which means we are doing concatenation of our string. So it will be ID, an empty space, or let's say full stop, and after that an empty space, and let's say the country name, which is data name, and let's say we want to make new line or 2 new lines, and then we will say about section. And let's say that's it. So now once we execute this part of the code, what will happen? We are selecting the first row, we are printing on our screen the ID, name and about from this table. After that, once we are here, the code will go here again, position ourselves here on the second row. So now we are selecting this one. The code is executing again, printing now the number 2, Germany, about, going again here, checking if there is more rows. After that we are positioned here, getting this, etc. And that is the complete explanation, and I guess it's a very basic to understand this. So let me now show you how to write the code. So right now I'm here at my PHP store, and I have created a new project, and inside this project I have just a basics index.php file, which contents you can see here. And for those of you that want to download the source code for this tutorial, you will find in the description below. The next thing that you will need is to start your exam server, and also inside PHPMyAdmin create new table, let's say new database, let's say getting MySQL, and inside this database I have a table country, which contents you can see here, and also I will include the SQL file with the source code too. So we are just going to use the data from this table. So we have ID, name and country code. So let's say I'll write here PHP code, and here I will define new variable connection, and I will say equal new MySQL, and inside here I'm going to write the connection parameters. So first, as you can see, is host. So if you are using Sublime Text, brackets, Atom or any other, just don't write host because you don't need it. Just write the other things. So localhost, my username is root, my password is empty, and my database name is getting MySQL, and that's it. So now, if you remember, we need to define new variable SQL, and we will say connection query, and inside here we will write our SQL. So we will say select everything from country. Okay, and we will say while data equal SQL fetch array, this will happen. And inside here we will just output the data, so we will say echo data ID dot, and here let's make a space, dot data name, space again, dot data country code. And let's say we will just make a new line. So let's see what will happen. So I'll go to the localhost, getting data from MySQL using PHP, and as you can see here we have just a list of all the data that we have inside MySQL. So first one is ID, the second one is the name, and the last one is the country code. And this is the simplest way to get the data. Now let's put all the data inside table. So what I'm going to do here, I will define table and say border equal 1, and I will move this code up here, and let's say we will define one new row. Column is ID, name, country code, and inside here I will say table row dot, and let's say table row column. Okay, and I will close this column. So I'll go down here, create new column. Okay, close this column, go again. Okay, here. Okay, and I will close the row. So this, if we didn't make any mistake, should create nice table. So let's see. So yeah, it's here. It's nice, and the data is looking much better. So now for those of you that want to make it a little bit nicer, I'm going to show you how to include Bootstrap. So I'm going to say get bootstrap.com. I will go to the download Bootstrap, and down here we have a links for those libraries. So I will just copy this and include inside head part of our website. And let's say here I will change this add class table, table hover, table bordered. So let's see this. So look how nice this is looking now. And we can also add some containers to make it even nicer. So I'll say class container, and inside this container we are going to have one row, and inside this row we are going to have, let's say, MD 8 call md offset 2. So those are just from the Bootstrap that are already predefined with the CSS. So you just need to learn how to use it. But for now we are not focusing on learning Bootstrap, so just learn as is. And let's see what will happen. Okay, so look now. It's centered on the screen and the table and the data just looking great. We even have an hover effect, etc. So guys, pretty much that's it. I hope so that this is an easy to understand tutorial, and now you know how to create a nice looking table. So for those of you that doesn't understand something or have any other questions, just be sure to comment below. And also, if you like this video, please like it and share it with your friends. Take care.